Hello, coffee break time with you. Um, I've been asking God for words on how to approach the subject of self will. And then He gave me a message for all the people on the fence. Um, find Christ or get, um, find Christ, repent, or get smashed. There you go. That's it. Okay, now my words are on self will. What will you do? Um, this world is not what it appears to be in the manner of speaking, that it's more of a teaching tool. Um, boy, how do I say this? Self will is a big deal. There's a lot of um, men and women out there, like men, thinking they're Christ. Now, the Christ bloodline is very involved, and I do know that. But and the younger ones of you that I'm talking to and do know you, I do know you. So, um, even if I don't actually know your name, it may be your eye, But I know people well. Um, okay, well, anyway, back to the thing of self will. And okay, I'll just go with the guys here. So take no offense, guys. There's a lot of guys out there thinking they're Jesus Christ nowadays, and that's really not a bad thing. It's just that some of them are uninformed of the division of Christ's blood to come together as individual personalities and good men in all their own right further on down the line, right? But right now, they're literally feeling Christ, physically feeling him. It's like if your sister gave birth, or yeah, well, no, if wow, it's so hard to explain. Okay, yeah, I can explain it. I think I can explain it, like an empath or a healer or somebody like that. You physically get sick for that person that's hurt, that type of feeling. Um, So, like, Christ feels everybody like that, and they feel him like that. So, and I'm not going to call you weirdos, because there's a lot of people out there thinking they're doing what's right and they're probably doing the best thing. But they better dig tiny bit deeper and ask themselves, um, am I really Jesus Christ? Am I really putting my life in jeopardy, my um, future for humanity? Did I already do that and I'm willing to come back and um, fight for my children? Are you really a father of all that is? So that's my question to these men out there proclaiming to be Christ. That's all I'm saying. Which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Hey, act like him, act like the Almighty for the rest of your entire everything, guiding people with a good, pure heart. That you just can't go wrong. But you got to ask yourself, are you really willing to put your physical life in danger for everything that is? So that's where you are with that. And that goes for the women too. So not only your physical self, but everything that you hold dear to you. So, okay, hey, I was thinking, okay, well, back to the self will. So, with all of us getting together, you really got to be thinking, and I'll touch on your family too. So, and they will be okay. Let me direct this to you right now. You got to concentrate on the fact that this is not the best there is out of happy. You got to think to yourself, this is not the end of happy. um, Willing this world the way it is right now to end is not a bad thing. willing your child's soul to be carried on into the future. It's like taking a nap and they wake up. That is not a bad thing. If you're already here helping people, you're going to be there when your babies are sleeping, mending them for when they wake up. That's about kind of the gist of the thing. Um, Praying for your families and taking that to the Lord in prayer is always heard and it's always honored. So that is a mindful thing. There again, self will goes into play, but not necessarily on this planet. If you can see where that is with me too, with being raised in the Illuminati, um, and not being one ever, um, praying for them and having my heart bleed on a daily basis. Excuse me. Hope you can feel that. Hope you can feel what it was like and when I'm trying to express the danger of the whole thing and why it's gotta end. You know, we can't be doing this shit here anymore like this. Hey, you think there's not rock and roll in your future? There's always music. There's always happy. Happy is happy. Wouldn't you rather it be clean, Satan free? That's my ideal. So it goes down to self will. Do you have faith that God's going to take care of you and your family and every single one of your loved ones, and He's not going to let any of His children ever perish? I mean, if they're truly Satanists, you won't even know they existed. And there's no sense in holding on to something that wants you dead. And there you have to draw the line. Now that's serious. That's very serious, people. Please listen to that. Really, you got to put that in God's hands then. And that's praying for the devil. You hand that to God. You say, God, I can't talk to this individual or even attempt that or even try that. But I can put this in your hands. And that's what you have to do. And then you got to step aside. And I distance myself as far as I could from as many of them as I could, although I found the top dog, because there's not a day he rises and he's not hearing me say hello to the Lord and his son. So there's not a day he would do something a little under the weather, as far as I'm concerned, that it isn't documented through my eyes. There's no thoughts, no bad thoughts, like that one video I told everybody to go bleep themselves, but he said, die. Um, you know, like I said, angel in hell here, and my training was just for this. So when he's doing them things, I give him that look. I give him that advice from God. It's on an all day, constant basis. And when he drinks, he thinks he's escaping, and it only gets worse because then I really got control. And that's bad because then I can plan things ahead in them moments too. And he can't keep up with that on that level. Well, in fact, when I was born, he couldn't keep up with that on that level because the first thing God did, and the weirdest thing for me, was I was in my crib. I remember being angry because I couldn't walk. That always bothered me. I got a picture of me on a trike at 9 months old, motivating. So I just always been really active. Um, well, anyway, he had me bless the African people. And then, so like the Masons couldn't get that out of my head and find out who had done that, he took it out of me. Well, and I was kind of angry for a while, like almost like 10 years till I was about 10 years old. I didn't understand why he gave me something so splendid and then took it away. And then I realized later in my life that Christ wasn't on this earth yet, and they needed that vehicle, the only one they could trust. So they put it there. It wasn't me, it was Christ working through me in my soul. And then he kind of backed up. So I felt like they gave me something and then left me empty. But that wasn't it at all, if you see what I mean. And that's quite a tale to tell, isn't it? But it's the God's honest truth. So I never thought I was any minister. I never strived to be anything like that. But I did know I always spoke my mind. And I did know right from wrong. And if I saw wrong, I would speak my mind, you know? I'm not saying I haven't done stupid or terrible things because I have, you know, and I totally pay for them. And I'm not done yet. I got to look in his eyes when I get home. That's not a good thing. So, and that's about the worst thing. Any stern parent is looking them in the eyes after you screwed up. It's a hard thing to walk up there and confess what you did. When I do it, I'd be like, oh God, it was hard. Really, really hard. But see, both my parents lied and they stole and they did all kinds of lewd and rude things. So, um, for me to just step up and say things, hey, I get my ass beat, even telling the truth. Either way, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, I just started getting away from that shit because I didn't want to be no dog. I didn't want to be a low life for all the money in the world. I had a car sitting there when I left home. You know, I left cars many times. My first marriage, I threw my car keys at his head. It was a Ford Fairlane I had redone by myself. My first car in our body shop when I was 17 in Minneapolis off of Lake Street. And I whipped them keys at his head and I said, take the fucking car, get out of my state, go back to San Diego and leave me alone or I'm going to have to do something to you because he like stalked me. He stalked me into, well, he beat me. He got into my hotel room after I left him and woke me up in the middle of the night beating me to death. Almost. See, I didn't fight back even though I knew judo a long time ago. I never would fight. I'd just get beat on, beat on, beat on. I've gotten thrown into walls, all kinds of shit. But that ended one day. But anyway, yeah, and the hotel lady there too, she was a motel in Montana, Hardin, Montana. I was working at the hospital nursing. She let my dog out, my Irish setter, the most beautiful setter you saw. Let him out and he was running and he had got hit by a car. My ex had let him out and he tried to follow me to work and he got hit and it displaced his hip. So, I mean, just one horror story. And that sucker locked my dog in a grain bin way up in the mountains. And I went out looking for him almost half the night. I finally was yelling for him and heard him barking. And he was so hot in there. And I mean, horror story after horror story. I am not kidding you. But anyway, um, let me get back to the gist of it. I will. I will. I oh that poor dog. So then I ended up going to Billings and I got a job at a body shop, East End body shop, as a painter's helper. And I wanted to learn how to paint because that's one thing I wasn't knowledgeable of. Only kind of because I mixed a special paint, or had it mixed rather, in my shop, but had it mixed a little bit of pearl. It was a Oldsmobile yellow from way back when. Some of you'll know it's the lightest pastel yellows. I love, like, can't find a pretty pastel like a pink or yellow or anything. That's what I love, the lightest ones like that. Or bright things I like too. But anyway, so I was there, and that sucker came and got a job at the same place as the body man up in front. I could not believe my freaking eyes. So I went in the office and I told him, I said, if he's going to work here, I'm out of here. And they said, well, we'll just keep him up front. Well, that didn't quite always work out. Well, anyway, so I got out of there and got an apartment and had to call the cops on him one time to leave me alone. And that's when I whipped my car keys at his head. And then I Went to Missoula and Lolo Hot Springs after that with my son's father. I met him some time later after the first piece of work was out of my life. So, anyway, and then I had some pretty good days for a while. Little bit. Kind of, sort of, never. But, yeah. So, I've always been doing what I do. Um, not as monstrous, not as vocal, but worse as my words got deeper and my knowledge got deeper. Worse on the people that were trying to betray humanity. So that's me. That's a little on me. And for my new subscribers, you're awesome. Thank you. I love you guys. You're all awesome. I mean, I can hardly believe it. I really hardly thought there was any good people left, but you are showing me different, you know, and that's a good thing. It really is. I mean, if you're in a city and you're walking down the road and there's just thousands of people crawling all over the place, and it's hardly a soul to be found unless you get your own little groups. You know what I'm saying? But even that's kind of a real different existence. You know what I mean? Still sort of a dog eat dog situation and all that. You know, I am fortunate I'm out here, although um, appearances are deceiving. So, and everybody does want our land because it's a meadow with the only water around like that, so deep that there's no value of this place and the shop and all the tools. And yeah, we need a roof and we need siding. We're going to put wood siding, or I don't even care about this place. I'd like to see it burn. Seriously, not the shop, not with all the tools. And we don't have fire insurance because it's a trailer. So don't think that I'm caring about the insurance, because I don't. I don't care about that. I've already had that happen, so I could care less. So how funny is that? The only thing that would do is force me into going and doing what I want to do anyway. So everything works out fine like that, always. I figure, and I do. I am. I'm tortured everywhere I go. If I say hi to a lady in town or something, she growls at me. You know, I know that was going to happen, but still, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Every day, I always have to look forward to, okay, I'll get smiled back at, but I'm going to get growled at too. And I'm not quite sure who's going to do it, but I just know it will happen 9 times out of 10 or more nowadays. So, yeah, well, that's that. mm. It used to overwhelm me, not make me angry. It made me so sad I couldn't hardly even deal with it. And Doug's got a daughter like that, my stepdaughter. And she'll always be my stepdaughter, even if her dad wasn't around. She's my baby girl like that. And that's Christine Louise Weist. And she was married, and her husband died in a motorcycle accident about a year after they were together. So she had some rough times. It's been about, oh, geez, now, 10 years, I'm guessing. So, yeah, it's pretty sad. But she has a hard time, even though she works in a convenience store, did, she very personable, very funny, very beautiful. She's a tiny little baby doll. Um, she scared to go out in public.